The film opens with text stating how, over 3 centuries ago, the first metahumans were discovered, paving way for a new age of gods and monsters. 30 years ago, Jonathan and Martha Kent, Pruitt Taylor Vince and Neva Howell, found a baby, Kal-El, from another planet and adopted him as their son Clark. 3 years ago, Clark became Superman, David Cornsweat, the most powerful metahuman and a superhero to the people of Metropolis. 3 weeks ago, Superman prevented soldiers from Baravia from invading Jahanpur, leading to controversy between nations over Superman's intervention. A mysterious villain, the Hammer of Baravia, arrives and defeats Superman in combat. Superman lands somewhere in the Arctic. He whistles for Krypto the Superdog to come to his aid. Krypto drags Superman to the Fortress of Solitude, where a group of robots, Alan Tudyk, Michael Rooker, Pom Klementieff, place the Man of Steel on a bed and position him in front of the sun so that he may heal himself. The robots also play a video message from Kal-El's late parents, Jor-El, Bradley Cooper, and Lara, Angela Sarafian. After he is healed enough, Superman flies back towards Metropolis to continue battling the Hammer, aka Ultraman, who is being controlled by evil billionaire Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult. While Superman attempts to fight back, the Hammer proves to be the dominant fighter. Luthor later meets with other government officials from ARG-US, including Rick Flag Sr., Frank Grillo, over Superman's interference in Baravian affairs since the United States government is allied with them. Luthor also hates Superman for the belief that he is making regular humans insignificant by comparison. Luthor also targets a civilian named Malik Ali, Dinesh Thiagarajan, purely because he aided Superman during his fight with the Hammer. Clark goes to his job at the Daily Planet, where he works alongside Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan, and Jimmy Olsen, Skylar Gisondo. He sees the reports on Superman's involvement with Baravia, while its president, Vasil Gurkos, Zlatko Buric, criticizes him for stopping the Baravian army's endeavors. Later that night, Lois finds Clark in her apartment cooking dinner, as they have been dating for a while and she knows that he is Superman. He decides to let her interview him as Superman, but Lois calls Clark out for getting involved in foreign affairs when he should stay out of it. Clark defends his position by saying that innocent people's lives were at stake. Lois suggests that they take a break. Luthor goes to Antarctica with Ultraman and his henchwoman, Angela Spica / the engineer, Maria Gabriela Di Faria, who was infused with nanites in her bloodstream to allow her to produce any weapon she can imagine. The villains break into the Fortress of Solitude and abduct Krypto before the engineer hacks into the computer system. She sees the message from Jor-El and Lara, uncovering something that Clark was not previously aware of. Luthor has his goons set off a small monster that grows into a massive kaiju that terrorizes Metropolis. Superman shows up and attempts to peacefully subdue the monster, but he is met by 3 other metahumans: Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Nathan Fillion, Mr. Terrific, Eddie Gathegi, and Hawkgirl, Isabella Merced, of the Justice Gang, working name, funded by billionaire Maxwell Lord, Sean Gunn. Superman tries to get them to agree to his terms, but Mr. Terrific drops bombs into the monster's stomach, blowing it up from the inside, to Superman's dismay. While the citizens are elated at being saved, a breaking news report goes out through the city. Luthor sent out the video message from the Fortress of Solitude and has it translated for the whole world to hear. Superman then hears the part that he never heard before: Jor-El and Lara explicitly stating that they were sending Kal-El to Earth for the purpose of having him conquer the planet. The citizens quickly turn against Superman and declare him public enemy number 1. Free Star. Superman becomes dismayed that his parents would have asked him to do such a thing, so he leaves the superheroics to the Justice Gang, such as having them fighting an intergalactic imp while he has a heart-to-heart with Lois over what he should do next. People in the media, such as Peacemaker John Cena, also openly bash Superman. He also finds that Luthor took Krypto, but when he goes to confront the billionaire, he denies to Superman that he has his dog. Superman chooses to surrender himself to the US government. Flag hands Superman over to Luthor, who imprisons him in a pocket dimension that Luthor created as a prison for many other people that he has grievances with, including his ex-girlfriend. He places Superman in a cell with a metahuman named Joseph / Metamorpho, Anthony Kerrigan, whose son baby Joey is in a separate cell with one of Luthor's goons. Since Metamorpho can create any type of organic matter, Luthor forces him to create kryptonite to weaken Superman. Luthor's girlfriend Eve Teschmacher, Sarah Sampaio, grows tired of his constant abuse, so she calls Jimmy at the Daily Planet since they have hooked up before, though Jimmy is put off by her. She meets with him privately and appears to be working behind Luthor's back. Meanwhile, Lois pays a visit to the Justice Gang for help in rescuing Superman, but only Mr. Terrific helps Lois and takes her in his hovercraft to go to Luthor Corp and find Clark. In the pocket dimension, Luthor brings Malik before Superman to threaten him before executing him, to Superman's devastation. Luthor also threatens to go after those closest to the Man of Steel. Metamorpho becomes emotionally overwhelmed from seeing Superman's horror at seeing an innocent man die. Metamorpho produces a powerful beam of energy that is close enough to the sun's light, which recharges Superman. He breaks out of the cell and immediately rescues baby Joey, before finding and freeing Krypto as well. The heroes battle Luthor's goons but are nearly pulled into a black hole inside the dimension. Lois and Terrific make their way into Luthor Corp after Terrific takes down some of Luthor's goons, and they find the portal to the pocket dimension. They enter it, but Terrific warns that opening the pocket dimension as many times as Luthor has been doing can have potentially catastrophic consequences. They find Superman, Metamorpho, Krypto, and baby Joey, and they are able to all escape from the pocket dimension in time before the portal closes. Lois brings Clark back to Smallville to Ma and Pa Kent's house so that he can recover. While there, Clark has a talk with Jonathan over doing the right thing, and his father tells him that his choices have made him the hero that he is. Luthor finds out that Superman escaped, and he goes ballistic. After insulting Eve one final time, she goes to the server room and calls Jimmy, saying she will give him what he needs to take Luthor down, on the condition that they hang out over the weekend. Jimmy reluctantly agrees, but Eve is discovered by Ultraman, who drags her out. She manages to send the files to Jimmy, but he is annoyed to see that they are just sexy selfies that Eve took at Luthor Corp. When he shows it to Lois, she discovers that there are critical documents and evidence in the photos, showing that Eve was gathering info against her boyfriend. Lois brings this information to Editor-in-Chief Perry White, Wendell Pierce, and she joins him, Jimmy, and fellow Planet employees Kat Grant, Michaela Hoover, Steve Lombard, Beck Bennett, and Ron Troop, Christopher McDonald, in Terrific Ship to go out and expose the villain. Free Star. Luthor opens the pocket dimension once again to imprison Eve, but this causes a rift to occur and starts splitting through Metropolis. At the same time, Gorkos leads the Baravian army to invade Jarhanpur with the intent of killing protesters. Children in Jarhanpur raise a flag and call out for Superman to save them. Superman sees the events unfolding and is told by Terrific to handle the situation in Metropolis, as the black hole will potentially destroy the city. As he attempts to fix the rift, Ultraman emerges and starts wailing on him. He is revealed to be a clone of Superman that Luthor created to kill the real guy. The engineer joins the fight and tries to kill Superman by forcing the nanites down his throat, but he flies high above Earth's atmosphere until she loses consciousness and control over the nanites, but she survives. Using his henchmen to control Ultraman, Luthor appears to have the edge on Superman until Clark whistles for Krypto. The Superdog proceeds to destroy Luthor's drone cameras that allow him to keep an eye on Ultraman, so Superman can fight back fairly. Superman then places Ultraman in the path of a flying bus, which sends the clone into the black hole. Meanwhile, up in the sky, the Daily Planet reporters upload evidence of Luthor's involvement with Baravia, specifically hoping that he can turn part of Jarhanpur into his own monarch-ruled nation, to their website, exposing him to the world. Back in Jarhanpur, Superman has called upon Guy, Metamorpho, and Hawkgirl to defend the people. Guy uses his ring to demolish tanks, Metamorpho uses his abilities against the ruthless soldiers, while Hawkgirl flies into Gorkos' palace and takes out his guards before flying out the window with him. The Tyrant believes that Hawkgirl shares Superman's moral code and will not kill him. She scoffs and proceeds to drop him to his death. Superman bursts into Luthor Corp to confront Luthor, while Terrific hacks into the computer system and is able to seal the rift. Luthor rants about how he orchestrated the Baravia-Jarhanpur conflict specifically to kill Superman, but the Man of Steel gives an impassioned speech about how he is just as human as the people of Earth. Before Luthor can continue raving, Krypto comes out and thrashes the billionaire around. Everyone then sees the news of Luthor's scheme being exposed, and he can only stand in defeat before he is later arrested and sent to Bel Riv. Metamorpho also becomes part of the Justice Gang. The people of Metropolis, as well as the rest of the world, once again view Superman as a true hero. He then finds Lois for an interview, and they share a passionate kiss while floating in the air. Also, Jimmy and Eve get together after she and everyone else are freed from the pocket dimension prison. Superman later returns to the Fortress of Solitude, where he has befriended one of the robots. He is visited by his cousin, Kara Zor-El/Supergirl, Millie Alcock, who comes to pick up Krypto since he is her dog. Superman is then placed back on the bed to recharge in front of the sun, while the robots play clips of his happy childhood memories with Ma and Pa Kent. During the credits, Superman is seen overlooking the Earth from the moon while cuddling Krypto. After the credits, Superman and Mr. Terrific comment on a building as the city is being fixed up, with Superman noting that the building was put together unevenly, which annoys Terrific.